We are coming up on one of the busiest travel seasons here in the United States. School's almost out and summer break is about to begin. There's going to be lots of people hitting the road. And today I want to talk to you about some travel information and how to store that in OneNote. So stay with me. Well, hi everyone, this is Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. And today we are talking about planning a trip. I wanted to share with you guys a page or so of a couple of different ways that I have organized some information for some previous trips that I have taken. I think it's a great way to organize, and what made me think of this was I had a friend of mine call me and say, "Where's that place you stayed when you went down to Wilmington, North Carolina?" Well, for me, it was very easy just to go back into OneNote, type in the name Wilmington, and up came all of my information about our trip to Wilmington, North Carolina. And I thought, you know what? This is a great page. I don't think I've ever shared with you guys. So, with travel season being here, I thought it might be helpful to some of you who might be traveling in this summer season or into the fall or holidays or whenever. Okay? All right, so if that sounds interesting to you, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you have not already. And please feel free to share this with anybody who likes to travel, which is just about everybody that I know. All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal. I'm a retired teacher, and I just love OneNote. None of my content is sponsored by anyone. I just do this to share my love of OneNote and living a more simplified life with everyone. Okay, so I have a planner in OneNote. I keep notes in OneNote. I keep everything, all of my life management stuff in OneNote. And one of the reasons that I do that is just like I mentioned at the top of the video, the search feature is so awesome. I can just go in and search Airbnb or Wilmington or travel or, whatever it might be that I'm looking for, and those pages come up for me. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about organizing some travel things. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, as you can see here on my screen, there's lots of graphics on here, but I want to scroll in and show you where I started, and then we'll go through each of these things, okay? All right, so let's scroll in. My family was going to be taking a trip. We were meeting my sister halfway. That halfway point at this particular time happened to be Wilmington, North Carolina, okay? So you can see here, my husband does a lot of the maps and stuff. So a lot of these annotations are his. But what he did is he went in and he had been looking at different Airbnbs that we might want to stay at, okay? Now, my sister's older than I am, and my adult daughter was going with us as well. So there would be 5 of us on this trip. We wanted to bike ride. We like visiting small towns and seeing the historic parts of the towns, that kind of thing. So those were some of our top priorities, okay? So you can see on this first map here that my husband picked out 3 different Airbnb locations, and he pinged them 1, 2, and 3. And, just wanted to see where they were in relationship to everything else, okay? Then what he did is he looked at the map again. He's now on his iPad using this exact same page, copied the map, and was able to take his Apple Pencil and draw in here in yellow the historic district and, all the restaurants and shops and things that would be there. And we were thinking, well, it would be nice if we could either walk or bike to the historic district, okay? So you can see there that he's giving some relationships to that, okay? The other thing is there's some bike trails in Wilmington, and, it goes out to Brightsville Beach. Sorry, I was having a senior moment. Those bike trails go out from the the historic town out to Wrightsville Beach. And so you can see here in blue, he was listing where that bike trail was. And then there's another crossing bike trail that kind of goes by the college and stuff that's there. So he was marking that on here as well. Again, taking our interest in what we want to do and comparing that with where we want to stay. Okay? Then he went down here and he looked at that place in Wrightsville Beach. So you see down here on the map is Wrightsville Beach, and then you have, downtown Wilmington. Okay? So to get a bigger picture about what was happening, he put this map in there for us as well. All right? Then what he wanted to do, in planning this trip was all five of us, all five adults, had some different requirements, okay? My daughter said, please don't put me in a room where there's a bunk bed, because the last time we did that, the bunk bed was very rickety and she kept having nightmares that it was going to fall down on her. Sometimes my sister and I like to make sure that we each have our own bathrooms, and that's fine too. We wanted a place to be able to store the bikes, and we also wanted to make sure that we had a nice table to sit at, because we have Airbnbs because we like to cook at home, and we like to share meals with each other. That always happens sitting around the table, and we are big board game and card game players. So we also use that table for lots of entertainment in the evening, okay? All right, so what my husband did next is he created scroll out a little bit so you can see. He created a table, and you see here he has the name of each of the Airbnbs, and then he has them listed as number 1, number 2, and number 3, okay? So when you compare them with this map over here, you can see where number 1 is located, where number 2 is located, and where number 3 is located. And again, in relation to the bike trails and downtown and all that kind of stuff, okay? So you can look at the locations. At the top, he has the name of the unit, and then kind of, the main picture that they put on Airbnb, so that if you're looking at it and you're going through and saying, okay, which house is this? You kind of know that main picture. So he put that there at the top, okay? Then what he did is he kind of took all of our requirements and made a chart. This is simply a table that is 4 columns across, multiple rows down. And what he started doing is just taking screenshots from those Airbnb locations and dumping them into this particular chart, so that at a glance you could take a look and say, okay, this is the living area for unit number 1. This is the living area for unit number 2. And this is the living area for unit number 3. So you can compare. Does it look like there's enough seats for 5 people? Do those seats look comfortable? Is there a television? All those kinds of things, okay? Then one of the important things, for me anyway, and my sister, was to have enough room to sit and to play games in the evening, have dinner and play games in the evening, okay? So you can see here, I'll scroll in a little bit better so that you can see these pictures as I go across. This one has a nice big 6 seating table. Everybody has nice chairs to sit at. There's a big chandelier up above. It's close to the kitchen bar, so when we set up our snacks of charcuterie and popcorn and all that kind of stuff, it's close to that, so people can get their snacks pretty quickly, okay? The second one had a much smaller table, and you see over here there's a bench. Well, we kept laughing and saying, who's going to have to sit on the bench? Nobody wants to sit on the bench. So that one was kind of out for us. And then this one here also had a nice big table that sat 6 people, okay? But you can see it's kind of closer to the front door and farther away from the kitchen, okay? And my husband even noted here that it says dining table for 6, okay? All right, now as you go on down, here's a picture of the kitchen. And again, we wanted to compare. Like I said, we like to cook, and so we wanted a kitchen that would accommodate, a couple of cooks in the kitchen. So there's kitchen 1, there's kitchen 2, and there is kitchen 3. All right. Moving on down, you get to bedroom number 1, and again, it's simply a comparison. This is what bedroom 1, bedroom 2, and bedroom 3 look like. They all look fine to us. You can see they have en suites here, and so that is fine. And then you go on down and look at bedroom number 2, and number 2. So now we're getting into twin beds. That would be for my sister and her husband. And then we're looking at bedroom number 3, which kind of looks like an air mattress on a metal frame here for my daughter. That one looks okay. There's the dreaded bunk beds that she really didn't want. You get the idea. It's really easy to compare things when you have them laying side by side like this, okay? Then we looked at, was there back porch area or storage for the bikes? So here is a back porch that is behind the house. It is a screened-in porch that's covered, and the door has a lock on it, okay? Here's the backyard for unit number 2 and the backyard for unit number 3, okay? And going on down, we have the outdoor space. And then my husband even wanted to show that there is a front porch with a swing here, and there is a little outside like patio area for unit number 2. And that's the one for the outside unit, okay? Then we also, like I said, like to ride bikes, so we wanted to have a street view. How busy was the street that we were going to be on? Would we feel comfortable riding bikes and that kind of thing? So my husband took some street views so that we could see how crowded that the streets might be that we would be riding on, and that kind of thing. This particular house had a little park, a little basketball park right across the street. And then he was able to put down kind of the information, how much it was per night, what the reservations were, what the check-in was, all about, the space and that kind of thing. Same thing for each one. So we were able to compare all of that information across the board as well. Okay. All right, and then you see he had a couple of extra rows down here that he could have added more information if he wanted to, okay? Now, because there were 5 of us going on this trip, once he created this page with the maps, the location of the units, and the comparisons of all of the units, it was very easy in OneNote to go up here and to share up here with this share button. Click on that and send this page content to someone, okay? So when you click send this page content, it opens up an email. It gives this information, puts all this information in the email, and you can send it to my sister, her husband, and my daughter. So everybody can take a look at their leisure and get that information back to us, okay? I thought this was a brilliant way to organize this information so that everybody could see it. Everybody could make have some input and help make the decision about which unit that you wanted to stay at based on location, based on things that were nearby, and based on the amenities of the house, okay? I don't think the 5 of us are very picky, but there are a few things that we want, and we try to honor those things when we're doing a group vacation like that, okay? All right, well, there's lots of other times where we have used OneNote for vacation planning, but I just really wanted to share with you today, if you are making a decision about, a place to stay or a hotel to stay in or that kind of thing, that this is very helpful, okay? Let me show you one other page. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to, let's see. I think it's the Blue Ridge trip. All right, Blue Ridge, we went a couple of years ago. Let me see if this is the right page. Okay, yes. Again, my husband likes to, look at maps and figure out what's going on. So again, he created a few more tables here. This part at the very top is the 2 weeks that we were going to be gone and what towns we were going to be in, okay? So what we were doing basically is we were driving down 85 and then we were going all the way down to Atlanta, and then we were going to turn and come back up 81 back up through Virginia. Okay, so we were going to make like this big U shape here. Okay, so we had kind of laid out what days we wanted to be in each town. Okay, and you can see here that my husband was kind of plotting the first drive and where a good halfway point might be and where we might want to stop and all of that kind of thing, to get to our final destination. Okay, now this happened to be right when the big storm went through and tore up a lot of these towns in North Carolina, like Asheville and Hendersonville and Black Mountain and all of those kinds of towns. So some of them we did not get to visit, and we have vowed that we will go back and help support these communities. But you can see here, once he had some areas circled where we might want to be staying, he then started looking at hotels, and saying, okay, it's just my husband and I, where do we want to stay for the night? So he started listing different hotels that we might be staying in. So here's one in Cades Cove, which is, outside of Gatlinburg in the Great Smokies. And there's a different one in Pigeon Forge. There's one in Chattanooga. So you can see he was kind of making a list of where we might want to stay as we were traveling around. Okay. And then in many cases, he was also putting maps about where that particular hotel might exactly be located. Okay. This particular page came in very handy for the trip. You see he's got 2 columns of choices of hotels so that if things change, we had information about hotels that we could pick and choose as our, we were trying to do kind of casual, laid back retirement, kind of travel. So we didn't want anything set in stone too much. And with it just being my husband and I, we thought, doing hotels would be fun. Okay. All right, so there's a second page to show you how to store some maps and comparisons and that kind of thing. And stacking them in tables makes it very easy to manage. All right, well, there you have it. Here is a really quick and easy way to start organizing some ideas and some thoughts about some travel plans. Maybe you're already starting to think about what you might want to do over the winter holidays, and you want to start laying some information out while you have some time. Maybe you're chilling at the pool on a Saturday afternoon and you just want to start, adding some information. This would be a great way to organize it. Put those links in there so that you can get right back to those pages that you need to. Take those screenshots of the maps and annotate them however you want. It's all really easy in OneNote, and that is one of the reasons that I love OneNote so much. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you will take in these travel tips and maybe get some ideas. Again, give me a like, a thumbs up. Let me know where your favorite place to travel is. We like to travel up and down the East Coast. But there are so many great places in the world to travel. So leave me a comment and let me know where your favorite place to travel is. And until next time, here's hoping that you can live a more simplified and organized life through better planning. I use OneNote. Until next time, okay, bye.